Let's go to the Pac-12. Oregon favored by 9.5 over an undefeated team that already beat them this season. That's wild. I think it speaks volumes to what these teams have done since that game that we saw in October. That one was, of course, in Husky Stadium. Washington wins it. Now, you can make an argument that Oregon was the better team. Statistically, they dominated stretches of that game and then made, you could say, poor decisions or didn't execute on fourth down a few times, and they end up losing the game. And that was a wonderful performance, especially late from Michael Penix and Rome Odunze, right? Those guys were phenomenal in that game. So they win that game. Now they're undefeated, and now they're the undefeated team representing the Pac-12 in the conference championship game, and they are dogs by 9.5 to a team that they already beat. This looks a lot like, to me, a quarterfinal game because winner, I think, is going to be in based on what the rankings say from Tuesday night. All right, so this has everything to do with where the rankings were. Dan Lanning's team is so well thought of out there, and I think probably a lot of it from the committee is what a lot of us say that cover this sport, because we all believe almost to a man that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. They're really deep. They're athletic up front. They've got that requisite size and physicality in the middle of their defense that you have to have in order to win at the top level. And then offensively, guys, this is one of the best offenses in the country. Does anyone know that Bo Nix passed Michael Penix for the lead in terms of total passing in the country? Does anyone know that Bo Nix is the leading passer in the country? I bet you didn't. They've got Bucky Irving. They can run the ball. The offensive line is very good. They've got Troy Franklin, who, by the way, better numbers than even Rome Odunze. Better numbers than even Marvin Harrison Jr. He's outstanding on the outside. 14 touchdowns. They've got Tez Johnson, an outstanding slot receiver. They got tight ends. I love their length on defense. They can cover. This is one of the best passing defenses in the Pac-12. In fact, the best passing defense in the Pac-12. They handled Oregon State. Now, their resume is not as good as Texas's resume. Their resume is not as good as Ohio State's resume. They are incredibly fortunate that the Pac-12 decided to change structures and allow the two best teams in the conference to play for the conference championship game. That was just a couple of years ago. Because if this was 4 years ago, guess what? This would be Arizona and Washington playing in this game. And Oregon would be sitting in the exact same boat that Ohio State is, which is you lost your toughest game on the season on the road to a top 5 team, and you would just kind of be out. Never saying like, there's no chance. But they're going to get the benefit of the doubt just because of a structure change from a defunct conference administration from a couple of years ago, and they're going to get a second chance and a second bite at that apple. Now they're going to go in there, and they're going to play in Vegas, and they're 9.5-point favorites. Lanning was criticized after those fourth downs. Remember, it's not about deciding to go for it on fourth down. It's what you call and what you execute. Okay, I talked about that a little bit with Michigan last week after that Ohio State game. We talked about that after this loss as well. Two leading passers in the country. You got Penix, you got Bo Nix. Penix hasn't quite been the same since that win against Oregon. And frankly, Washington hasn't quite been the same. In fact, so many of these games since that win have been close ones, one score, against teams that they shouldn't be in one-score games with. Arizona State at home. Even in a rivalry, Washington State, that one also at home. I would say a really good win for them all of a sudden looks like what they did at Arizona, which at the time was like, oh, man, you can't beat Arizona by more than a score. But now that one looks a little bit different. Washington has 4 of their 6 wins by 1 score, while Oregon, since that matchup, has won every single one of their games, all 6 by multiple scores. So you're starting to see why they are favored by 9.5. Bo Nix is going to be making his 60th start, folks, in his college career. Every time he steps on the field, it's a new FBS record in times of starts for a quarterback. This guy is experienced. He's playing as well as anybody in the country. I like Oregon in this game. If you just look at the trends, if you look at where these teams are strong, where they struggle, Oregon's great on pass defense. Washington struggles in pass defense. They're 9th in the Pac-12 in pass defense. They're facing the nation's leading passer with one of the best wide receivers in the country in Troy Franklin. This one screams neutral site that Oregon goes and gets it done. Dan Lanning has been a master motivator. I think he learns that from Kirby Smart. This team has been focused. They've got veteran leadership. They're physical. They can do everything on offense if you need them to. Defensively, they can rush the passer. They've got length. They can cover. They do everything well. Oregon is one of the best teams in the country. Now, their resume is not one of the best teams in the country, and they need this win. I think this is a play-in game. Washington wins, and they're in. Oregon wins, and they are in. I would absolutely, virtually guarantee that. They are 9.5-point favorites. They win. I don't know how I like. I don't know what I like on that number. That one's a hard pick. I could see them win by 6. I could see them win by 14. This is a team that is highly motivated. I think if I had to lay it, I would take Oregon.
Thank you for watching the Joel Klatt Show YouTube channel. And if you liked this clip, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel, and you can stay up to date on all of my college football coverage.